You are the Slayer. Into each generation, a Slayer is born.
Can we go now?
Such power.
Who are you?
I'm Dracula.
Get out!
The way we thought about Dracula was like if a rock star came to your town. Like in the Buffy universe, Dracula is David Bowie, you know?
Freaking Dracula is standing right behind us.
And then he lunges at us like whoosh.
He totally looks shorter in person.
And can you believe that? Count Famous heard of me.
I have yearned for you.
For a creature whose darkness rivals my own.
Thematically, what we were going for was that Dracula represents a kind of dark side that Buffy feels she has in her, that we sort of approached with the primitive in season 4.
Do you know why you cannot resist?
Because you're famous?
Because you do not want to.
The scene in which Dracula makes Buffy bite him is a continuing to explore the theme that we had been exploring in season 4, which was how much of her power comes from the fact that there's something inside of her that is actually a killer.
You think you know what you are, what's to come.
And we went as far as to have her actually take blood from Dracula because in a way, we were sort of saying it's already there.
Find it. Darkness. Find your true nature.
This is the side of the Slayer that she has to sort of make peace with. Either she's going to go all the way and sort of embrace the darkness, or she's going to find a way to live with it.
Always alone.
You know, those are constant themes in our show, which is about how do you deal with power, you know, and how do you deal with your own darker impulses without becoming self-destructive or destructive to other people.
Nobody knows who I am. Not the real me. No. Underline. Exclamation point. Exclamation point, exclamation point.
Real Me is told from Dawn's perspective because we thought it was an interesting way to introduce her character, to get into her head, and to see how the other characters appear to an outside observer.
You can't allow personal concerns to distract you from your... Dawn, will you stop fiddling with the radio and sit down?
I know you. Curds and Whey. I know what you are.
A seemingly homeless man who is going to recognize that Dawn did not belong in this universe. This was something we knew we needed to do because the fans were going to be going, why is this character suddenly here? We've never explained her. And we kept that going 5 episodes, as Joss's intention was. And at the same time, I wanted to connect the references to Dawn to the mythology of the series. And so I made the reference to Curds and Whey.
Oh, you have to go. That's just with little sis coming. I know. So much to do before she gets here.
For those people who didn't pick up that Faith's reference to a Little Miss Muffet was a reference to Dawn, I tried to connect it by giving him that little catchphrase.
You don't belong here.
Good Lord.
What?
Well, I had no idea the profit margins on a shop like this were so high.
The Magic Shop was a place to just ground all our characters, to give Giles some more meaning in his life, to make him a shopkeeper as opposed to an ex-librarian.
The Slayer is not here.
It was a way for us to bring the Watcher and Slayer back together.
Get away from her!
Xander! Xander?
The motivation to write The Replacement was, to some extent, Nikki's got a twin brother.
Having Kelly there was an added plus, you know. He's my twin brother, so I mean, he's my best friend.
How could you not take advantage of that? But it took a really long time to come up with a story that worked. We would sort of talk about it, and Joss wasn't really sparking to anything, so it would get put away. And then this notion came from Joss, just independent of thinking of something to involve Nikki's twin.
The rod device, it's called a perula gemina. It splits one person into half, distilling personality traits into 2 separate bodies.
We were just thinking about the notion of someone else could do a better job with my life than I am.
I played both parts on on camera, but he had to know all the lines still because of off camera or like an over the shoulder.
When you kill this thing, you'd better make sure you got the one who's actually a demon. A demon has taken my life from me, and he's living it better than I do.
We did a very strong mislead in our episode that the second Xander was evil. You know, we gave him the flattened coin to play with and stuff because we really wanted to have that moment where Xander sort of goes, wait, you mean if I had dealt with my life with confidence, maybe I could make it be a better life. Maybe it doesn't take magic to make my life better.
You ever think about staying on full time? What? Why isn't he firing me? Him.
That's where he kind of pulled it all together, and he got the job at the construction site and hasn't lost it yet.
Buffy's like nobody else in the world. I am well aware of how lucky I am. Like, lottery lucky. But she doesn't love me.
We had all been feeling this about the Buffy-Riley relationship. It had never had the fire that Buffy Angel did. It wasn't really meant to.
You know, we've all been in a relationship where you care about someone more than they care about you. Whether they've acknowledged it or know it themselves, there's a difference. Two people are not seeing the relationship on the same place, and that's where it was. You know, I think that Riley cared an awful lot about Buffy to the point of probably it being his first love, and was so head over heels and didn't feel like he was getting that in return.
What's powering it, raw enthusiasm?
Hey, Buff, maybe you ought to leave the work behind sometimes. You're not always on Slayer duty, you know?
Riley is the appropriate, sunny college boy. I thought it was great that he knows it. And we realize in this episode that he's sort of known it the whole time. And to have Xander be the confidant, to have to walk through the rest of that season until they broke up with Xander knowing that this was going on.
It was a time when, because of Riley's friendship base being kind of yanked out from under him, he's no longer in the military. A couple of his friends have died. He needed the guy friend, and Xander was the natural choice.
Slayer!
Suit up, home.
It seems Spike is just absolutely desperate. He's going to kill the Slayer. And he and Harmony are like this sort of natural-born killers, this crazy couple. He's not really paying attention to Harmony at all. You know, his focus is always on Buffy. And you can see sort of throughout the episode, he's obsessed. And you can sort of see that there's another side to his obsession. And then at the end, that's kind of a jolt when he has a dream.
We're reminded what happens when Spike is truly in love, which was one of the things that was interesting in the beginning of when we saw him in love with Drusilla, that there really is real love in there. And so that plays out from that moment on.
In season 4, we brought him in, but he was sort of the wacky neighbor. Can I borrow a cup of sugar and insult you? We were sort of feeling our way around what to do with him. So when I realized that he was madly in love with Buffy and always had been, the process by which we got to take him to that realization was very fun. Because at first, oh, it's just lust. I'm a bad guy, so it must be lust. And then him actually figuring out it was true love. And in Family, there's this tiny beat of, oh, I want her dead. I have to save her, which is different than, you know, oh, she's a hottie. It's him trying to be a hero, and of course, because he's invisible to her, she never figures out that he actually saved her.
You're welcome.
This was yet another increment of, this is more than just an infatuation with an archenemy.
What is the... Who are you?
Joyce collapses, and it's frightening. That's the beginning of Joyce's larger arc, where we're sort of revealing how serious her condition is.
I like that Joyce died a natural death. Her being killed by monsters or anything other than her just dying of a brain aneurysm would have cheapened the storyline. I love the fact that Joyce was human and died that way. My own self, I was very sorry to miss Christine because I love her. She's a terrific woman, good actress, great mom.
I actually had known for a number of years because I was actually out of the country in season 4. And when I went to tell them that I was going to be going away, you know, Joss was like, well, you will be back for season 5 because I'm going to kill you.
I'm leaving, Buffy. Unless you give me a reason to stay. Transport's leaving tonight.
When Buffy doesn't tell him first about her mom's illness, it was another thing because it's just one thing on top of another. It's a slow build, and it was a slow burn in Riley. And he did everything he could to the point of allowing himself to visit the dark side to understand her.
Zruda.
There you are. I've been looking all over for you.
This was one of the most fun introductions of a character that I can remember on the series, or that I had anything to do with. Having these giant doors smash open like King Kong.
Her full name is Glorificus. Glorificus, or Glory, was one of 3 gods that ruled in another dimension and was banished by the other 2 gods because she was too, quote-unquote, evil or cruel to rule with them anymore, and sent to Earth to live in the form of a male, which was the Ben character. And as the years went by, she learned to manipulate his body to bring herself out at times.
When Buffy meets Glory, she just gets the crap kicked out of her by Glory.
Fine, be that way.
Buffy is looking for answers and looking to find out what's wrong, and she not only gets more questions than she got answers, but when she confronts something, she's like, just give me something whose ass I can kick. And she runs into not a monster or a demon or a vampire or anything like that, but a girl her own dress size and age, apparently, who throws her around like a rag doll. And Buffy's never met someone who looks like her, who can just beat the crap out of her. Even Faith was just as strong, but Glory's a god. Glory can do much, much, much more than Buffy can.
The abomination found us. We had to hide the key, gave it form, molded it flesh, made it human, and sent it to you.
When the monk dies in Buffy's arms, and she learns that Dawn is the key, Buffy thinks that the attack on her mom is supernatural, and she thinks that if it's supernatural, it's something that I can handle. And she sees that Dawn isn't her sister, and she thinks, well, okay, then the answer is, Dawn is hurting my mom. You know, if Dawn isn't real, she must be the problem. And what she gets is much, much worse, which is not only is Dawn not the problem, but Dawn is completely innocent, and you still don't know what's wrong with your mom.
What is she?
Human.
It puts Buffy in a position of being greatly responsible, not just for the fate of the world, which is the Slayer's job, but also for this person in her life, and for her mother. So Buffy really is forced to step up as the head of the household.
When she realizes Dawn is not actually my sister and says, I don't care, I feel a need to protect this girl. It's about accepting that family is a part of your life, even when you think of yourself as independent, and it's about the extraordinary love that a family can bring you, and we very much said Buffy's love interest is going to be her sister for year 5. We knew way back when, it actually started with a conversation I had with Doug Petrie in year 3, where we said, well, they're going to college, and we're gonna do that crazy freedom in year 4, and then year 5, let's bring it back to family.
The girl belongs with her family. I hope that's clear to the rest of you.
This episode was a way of saying that Tara is a member of it, stating very baldly, family are the people who treat you like family, period, and not necessarily the people that you're related to by blood. And in family, we say it very specifically because they talk very specifically about, you know, we don't really understand Tara. We don't really get her. We're not sure why Willow's going out with her. You know, that's a new thing for us. But that doesn't matter, and that's the point of the show, that these are the kind of people that even if they don't necessarily agree with everything about a person, they have that person's back, unconditionally.
Who the hell are you?
We're family.
I guess I missed that. Was he bothering you?
Hey, Ben. This is my friend Willow.
Hi.
Hi.
Ben is a tragic figure, ultimately, although he takes a turn toward the end to become a little bit darker to save himself. Ultimately, he is like Dawn. He is somebody who wasn't meant to exist, who only exists through magic.
Ben is the counterpoint to Glory. He's meek where she is sassy, you know. He's just this kind of nebbishy guy, and you think that he's gonna be a love interest for Buffy. He's kind of like Xander. He's got a sense of humor. He's a doctor. He's a good guy. He's a cool guy.
I gave her my phone number in one episode, and then she had a very liberating conversation with Xander and decided she didn't need any sort of romantic interest, and so she blew me off.
Hi, it's Buffy. I hope this is your machine. There wasn't a message.
Anyway, about coffee. I'm sorry. And, bye.
What the hell?
I wasn't told that we were the same person until in episode 13. We found out in episode 13 it was the first morph, and it was kept a complete secret. I knew that I was related to the villain, but I had no idea we were the same person.
The gang almost learns that. We learn it as an audience. But then Dawn, when she's relating the story to Buffy, can't remember what happened. She thinks Ben got away before Glory arrived. It's all very confused. She could not legitimately remember. And we find out in a later episode that part of the Hell God's punishment of sending Glory to Earth inside this human vessel was that if she ever got out, if she ever got free for brief periods of time, no one could remember that Ben equals Glory. No one human. Later on, we find out that Spike, who witnesses the transformation, does remember, but nobody else does.
Glory's work the kind of mojo where anyone who sees a little presto changeo instantly forgets. And yours truly, being somewhat other than human, stands immune.
What do you want?
The key. Why else do you think I'd come here? See, I think you know where it is.
Why can't she figure out Dawn's the key? There are several reasons for this. One, yes, she's a Hell God, but part of the reason that she's insane is being forced to live in this vessel on our plane of existence has driven her mad.
She started feeling more as a human would. As the season went on, she developed these feelings. She couldn't really put a name to them. She couldn't really pinpoint what they were. She just knew it was something going on inside her. She tried to verbalize them, at times having conversations with Dawn, at times conversations with herself or her minions. She actually was taking on some of Ben's feelings.
Ben?
Ben? Oh, God, you pointless, stupid lump! Oh, I hate you! I hate you! I hate you!
The key. He told me.
She has very strong moments of psychosis, and she has no idea what she's looking for. She has no idea that the key was pressed into human form, because no matter how much she tortured the monks, they wouldn't tell her what they did with it.
What am I?
The key. I found it.
Glory can't recognize the key by looking at her. And the interesting thing is, the people who can are the people that she's making crazy. All she would have had to do is realize that. She had perfect key trackers in her presence the whole time.
Just Katie!
Willow's increasing power was very important to this story arc because it gave someone strong enough to stop Glory, or at least slow her down. And we're also setting up a lot of major issues with Willow and her power for season 6. Specifically in season 5, we were building up to Willow confronting Glory after Glory brain sucks Tara.
Glory has to suck brains out of people to keep herself sane. We've seen that she gets jittery and irrational, and then she'll put her fingers in someone's head and suck out their brain, and they go crazy, but she can keep going a little more. These are her medication. We also know it's very dangerous for her to be doing this because it's leaving, you know, a trail of crazy people all over Sunnydale.
Hi. Hi. I'm looking for Warren. Do you know where Warren is? And if you do, could you tell me?
The big joke of this that we had in mind from when we started breaking this episode was that we weren't going to do what we did in Ted, which is the mislead of, oh, it's a human being, it's a human being. No, it's a robot. This one, we wanted to make it clear from the beginning.
I kind of got the impression that she was a robot.
Oh yeah, robot.
This is the first time we meet Warren, who becomes a main villain in season 6. This is the first time we establish him.
I don't see Warren as a villain. I don't see him as a typically evil person, because that's what's so great about him is I don't think he's just an evil person. I think he's a human being. He has flaws and he has positives, and he's always kind of given the chance for redemption, and he's always given that moment where he can do the right thing that he never ever does because he is really flawed and he does have a lot of issues and an inability to communicate or talk to anyone or really explain what it is that he wants.
Warren, something's going on here. Strange girls.
Trina, please be quiet, okay? This is important. Wait in the kitchen.
And I'm not important? Warren, just tell her to go away.
I can't.
When Buffy's talking with Warren about his breakup with April, she's actually identifying with him because she did a lot of the same stuff with Riley that he did with April.
I'm placing an order.
Oh, no, I'm not making any more girls.
Sure you are.
The writers devised a way to get the characters of Spike and Buffy together, because there was a lot of call to get them together, but structurally it's almost impossible. So we get the episode where the spell is cast in Something Blue, when they almost get married, then we see the Buffy bot stuff.
Spike? Oh, Spike.
This is one of my favorite things I've ever seen Sarah do, was how she does the Buffy bot. I think it is just hilarious.
Spike's mine. Who's straddling Spike?
The cheerfulness, the getting Giles's name wrong.
But I really think we should be listening to the other Buffy Giles. She's very smart, and she's gonna help us save Spike.
Which was Joss's idea, because he's always so aggravated by people who claim they're fans of the show and then pronounce his name Giles.
I fell down and got confused. Willow fixed me. She's gay.
Will fixed you? And I thought they'd melt you into scrap.
They were confused, too. Do you want to ravage me now?
The kiss at the end of this episode is a huge milestone. She finds out for sure, by pretending to be the Buffy bot, that Spike did not betray her, that he did not tell Glory that Dawn is the key. Buffy owes him a genuine debt of gratitude and gives him a kiss at the end of this episode, you know, still in the guise of the Buffy bot.
I'm starting to feel like being the Slayer is turning me into stone.
There's a sacred place in the desert. It's not far.
Buffy's sort of afraid she's losing it, goes on this quest in the desert and follows the mountain lion and sees the primitive, the original Slayer.
You're afraid that being the Slayer means losing your humanity.
Does it?
Death is your gift.
Death
is your gift.
This information, death is your gift, is what lets her know that throwing herself off that tower is going to be the right thing to do at the end. But at this point, she takes it very badly. She does not yet understand what it means.
Death is my gift.
Yeah, I keep hearing that, but I'm not exactly sure what it means.
It's really not that complicated.
Not for you, maybe.
It's what I do. It's all I am. Buffy, stop! No!
Buffy feels that she killed her sister by failing. And she feels that she's a failure as a sister and she's a failure as a Slayer. Those are the only two things she's got. She's got her friendships, she's got her family, and she's got her job. And she's not doing those well right now. And she feels that she got Dawn killed.
Slayer's gonna be all right, won't she?
I'm not even sure she's, really in there.
This is about as close as Buffy gets to self-destruction, I think, is that her body and brain just shut down on her. She just goes catatonic.
Hi, Willow.
Hello, Buffy.
Willow attempts to do a spell to go around in her head and find out what's going on. And in there we meet Buffy as a young child, and we see the memory Buffy has as a young girl of watching her mom and dad come home, bringing Dawn home, the baby. It was a great trip through Buffy's mind.
I could be the one to look after her sometimes. If you need a helper. Mom, can I take care of her?
Yes, Buffy, you can take care of her.
And when she gets older and she watches herself in the library sequence where she has this moment of clarity, and then she begins to have a conversation with herself in the library and asks how she felt at the time. And then Willow's in on the conversation, and the three of them, Buffy and Willow, have a conversation about what it's like to be the Slayer and what it's like to live this life that she leads, and how damaging it is to just to be this person all the time, and to be a human and to be a Slayer. And it explains a lot about Buffy and explains a lot about how she deals with her everyday life.
I can't beat Glory. Glory's going to win.
You can't know that.
I didn't just know it. I felt it. Glory will beat me.
I wanted to kill Buffy at the end of season 5. I think originally I had thought about the idea of ending the series then, and I wanted to make that day truly different and also sort of sum up the whole series. That's why The Gift begins with a very generic vampire killing, where she rescues a boy who's like, "You're just a girl." That was the original mission statement of the show. And even in the middle of all this stuff that's going on with Glory and all this different stuff, I wanted to be able to say that. I wanted to say, this is what we started with, because in a way we were finishing. Now, I knew we weren't finishing. I knew I was going to bring her back, and, you know, those who've watched season 6 have seen it's clearly about, but I was done. Why am I back? And dealing with the pain of, I had closure, but life continues. The question of what is a Slayer, which we brought up in the very first episode, what does it mean? Does it just mean being a killer? And answering that with no, it means living in a world where life and death are an issue and putting your own life on the line. That's what she learns about being a Slayer, and it's a beautiful thing. I mean, obviously, you know, sacrifice, self-sacrifice like that goes fairly deep into several mythologies. It just felt like a way to get back to the very personal journey of this girl and the huge mythic 100th episode finale that I felt the 100th episode, which was just coincidentally the season finale deserved.
So the Magic Box has become Giles' place of business, and this is his opening day, and it's very exciting, and he dresses like a wizard. Joss Whedon was very big on that moment. He really loved that moment. He invented that moment, and he was insisting that there absolutely be no dialogue between them. There'd just be an understanding of, you know, you look like a giant spaz in that hat.